Demon Knights number 12, written by Paul Cornell, art by Diogenes Nevis. Last issue left off with the Demon Knights and King Arthur making their way into a magic tower that was actually a trap laid out by Morgan Le Fay. This issue just deals with them getting through the tower to start with. They're looking around, they're like, wow, this place is absolutely massive on the inside, but it seems a lot like Camelot, just scaled down to fit into this much bigger space. And they're like, okay, well, if it's Camelot, then we got to deal with the magic beam up top, and that's probably where Merlin's room was. So let's make our way up there. So Morgan Le Fay's looking in her crystal ball, and she's seeing like the layout of the building. She's like, they'll never figure out my lair until it's too late. I've laid out all these traps to make sure that they are drained of their energy. So let's get on with it. So they make their way into a room, and they see the round table that, of course, King Arthur had, but all the knights are dead at it, and there's a pentagram drawn on it. So it's like, oh my god, who would have done such a thing? But it turns out the knights aren't actually the knights. They are Xanadu's sisters, like the people who brought the king across Lake Avalon and all that. So, yeah, at that point, she's like, what is going on here? This is some weird stuff. And then Horsewoman realizes that the energy is being drained from them. Like, she can feel a difference in, like, the field that she has with these other creatures, and Exoristos feels it too. So they're like, okay, well, if we're losing our energy, we need to go now. But, of course, as soon as they try to, there's a trap of all these little magic beings that come out and start attacking them. And Sir Easton comes up and slashes a bear, like a demonic-looking bear. But when it slashes open, it has some sort of knockout gas inside. So all of them are knocked unconscious. And when they come to, they're all magically bound to a wall with a whole bunch of spell sigils on it and whatever. And Morgan Le Fay's standing there like, hey, sis, hey, bro, hi, it's me. I'm the one doing this. My grand scheme is thus. I am going to put my mind into Merlin's body. Everyone will be super stoked that Merlin is back to life, and they will respect me as a man, because as a woman, nobody respects me back in these ye olden times. Also making modern equivalents, mind you. And she's like, yep, that's my plan. I'm going to do that. And in order to do that, I need to drain you all of all your energies, so you will all die in this room, which is why I need to leave, because this room will become deadly in a few minutes. So I'm not going to watch you die. Just please do so. So she leaves, and everyone's like, okay. So she can see the future a little bit, and she sees us die. So that's clearly an issue that we have to overcome. And at that point, Etrigan's like, I bet she didn't foresee that I have the flames of hell whenever I switch places with Jason Blood. So they just switch back and forth like 8 times in a row until the flames of hell weaken the magic chains enough that they're able to break out. And of course, they all feel the energy draining, but Etrigan's like, let me just read the instructions. I want to make sure I do this right. And everyone's just like, destroy the altar. That's clearly all it is. So he destroys the altar. And then we cut to Xanadu up in her room looking over Merlin, being like, oh, yes, I will soon be one with you, Merlin, my old love. And she's like, okay, it should have happened by now. I should be in your body. What's going on? And the Demon Knights break in, and she's like, fine. Xanadu, I guess I'll just take your body. And also, I forgot to mention, Morgan Le Fay wears this golden mask the whole time because she has eternal life, but she did some dark magic stuff, which apparently does not make you look pretty. So she also is okay with being youthful and decent looking again. So she's about to cast her mind into Xanadu, but King Arthur jumps in the way, and it's just like, oh, she's fighting me. I have to sacrifice myself in order to make it so she doesn't rule Camelot with King Arthur's body. Sir Easton, as my final act, I knight you a new knight of Camelot. So wherever you are, Camelot will endure. And then he goes and attacks the magic green fire thing that was attacking them before. It explodes. The tower starts collapsing. Everyone makes their way out as quickly as they can. And everyone's all right, as far as I can tell. But they're like, all right, well, that was an adventure. Should we keep on doing the whole go to Avalon to resurrect Merlin thing? And they're like, yeah, sure. The entrance should be right over. Oh, no. It would seem that in the magic explosion, the entrance to Avalon is gone. Nuts. except for Etrigan, who's extremely pissed off by this news. And he's like, do you have any idea the deals I've made? What I've had to do to get to this point? You bastard. And he immediately just starts going off the edge. He's just like, here's the thing. I was never on your side. I'm a demon. I tricked you all. And now you're all going to feel the fires of hell. And so he brings hell on earth to these people. And we see them all either engulfed in flames or literally transported to hell. Hard to say at the moment. I mean, hell of an ending. But it's genuinely... It's a good book. I'm not going to say anything really that bad about it. Honestly, I like everything here. It does feel a little bit episodic at times. Like, I don't think that it is really a book that had its plot 100% thought out to begin with, of like, okay, I know the general vibe here is go to Avalon to get Merlin back to life. But then within that, we've had this thing with sea monsters. We've had this thing with Morgan Le Fay. We've had this thing with the entrance, like, Etrigan is saying we're going to hell now and Lucifer's taking over. There's a lot. I don't dislike it, but it is definitely not what I expected going into it after that first arc, because that first arc was a long game. That first arc was just, okay, this town's being invaded and we have this long 6-issue thing of here's how it's going to play out. So it's good. I don't dislike it, but it is changing subtly over time. Character-wise is what's really selling it. All the characters are just great. Vandal Savage, of course, is fantastic. At one point he shouts out, like, I am not going to give up my immortal life so that this woman can have a change of genitalia. I like it. It's a funny little book. So overall, I'm going to give this one a 7.5. I think it's definitely worth a read if you haven't checked it out already. But this is one of the most popular books of the New 52 looking back. So if you haven't checked it out, why not?